In this video, I'd like to share some ideas that will help you to properly debrief a 360 survey. I've been using 360 surveys with my coachees since I think about 2016. So it's been some time now, and I've gone through a lot of 360s with many clients. My preferred tool is the Checkpoint 360. That's my favorite 360 out of all the ones that are available. I've used a variety of different 360s, but that's the one I like the most and use most often. They are fairly similar across the spectrum of 360s, but I like the Checkpoint 360 for its depth, comprehensiveness, and its accessibility by clients. They generally understand it without a lot of explanation, and that's what you're looking for in a 360, that it's deep and comprehensive, but not too difficult to grasp. I've seen others that are hard to grasp and meet the depth chart requirements, so to speak. So how do you debrief a 360 without going into hours and hours of time and yet making it meaningful for the client? A few things. One is I first prepare the client to succeed with the 360. This is important, the warm up to the 360. Picking the right people to participate is really important. You want to get a cross-section of people across departments, peers, reports, of course, the manager, of course, but it's that others category that can also make a difference. Peers and reports are easy, but others, who do you choose? Well, there might be a mentor. There might be a customer outside the company. There might be a vendor relationship outside the company that's important. There might be a former manager that's actually moved to a different part of the company, but has had enough time with the person being rated that they can participate in the other category. So there are these people that can be in the others category that don't neatly fit into the peers or the directs category and are not a second manager. So consider using that category. And most 360s have a minimum of 2 people to maintain anonymity. I recommend having 3, 4, 5 people in each category if possible. A few reasons for that. One, it is the case that sometimes people do not participate. You give them time, reminders, you extend the deadline for the survey, they still don't participate. What do? Well, if you are at a minimum for anonymity in a category, you have to keep the survey open. You can't close it because you haven't reached the 2 required for a category. If you have 5 people and 1 doesn't participate, or even 2 don't participate, you can still close the survey as long as the person being rated agrees that they can move on and close the survey without those people that have lagged. The second reason is because you want a good cross-section of opinion. You want different perspectives. And something else to understand about a 360 is people don't respond to every question on a 360. While they may complete the whole survey, they may not write in comments. They may skip certain questions. So the level of participation in a 360 is also mixed. The more people you get, the better in terms of getting a full spectrum of information out of the 360. But of course, you never want to sacrifice quality for quantity. If a person has only worked with your client for a short amount of time, they worked with them on one project in the last year and really didn't spend that much time with them, they probably shouldn't be included in the survey. I'm often asked the question, should we include people that have a challenging relationship with the client? Because, well, they're probably going to rate the client lower in the survey. Are these important people that regularly work with your client? If so, even knowing that there may be some challenges presented by the feedback, they should probably participate. But that is if the person wants to participate, right? Another part of the warm-up is your client sends a note to people requesting that they participate in the survey and provide certain language that you can give to them. It's good for you to write the email that you provide to your client, who then sends that out to the people they're inviting to participate, because that email can create that balanced understanding of what we're looking for in the feedback, which is generally candid and caring, or candid and compassionate, in that it's fine to share challenging feedback, but also be caring in how you present it, knowing that they're going to be reading it without you there. It's anonymous. They may not have the full context. And so be candid but caring with the feedback that you present. And probably clarity might be a third C that you would put in there. Okay, so that's the warm-up, right? Usually give at least 2 weeks, sometimes be willing to stretch out for 30 days. That's the longest it should take. Most of the time it's wrapped up in 2 weeks. Be prepared to send reminders out to people. It's rare that people are going to participate right off the bat and do their part. Oftentimes people have to be reminded, so be ready for that. Once you've received the survey, you usually don't send it to the client before the debrief. You sit with them for the debrief and set aside 90 minutes. I've found that 60 minutes is usually too short. After 90 minutes, both sides get fatigued in looking at the content. So 90 minutes is usually that sweet spot for debriefing in 360. What I advise my clients to do is to not look at the feedback in isolation. Meaning, if there's a single comment that is really hurtful, but you're not seeing it repeated by anyone else, is that really meaningful? Is that something that you really want to walk away from the survey with? What we look for are patterns in the feedback. If there is a recurring theme in the feedback across multiple rater groups or within one rater group, this is important. If you're seeing that one rater group seems to be consistently rating the person high or low, that might be worth attention. They're doing great with that rater group. What can they do with that rater group and extend those strengths across other rater groups? Or what challenges are they having with that rater group that they should pay attention to? And is that an indicator of potential trouble that could be created in other rater groups if they don't pay attention and do certain things? So there's a lot of information that can be gleaned from a 360. What we're trying to do is prevent our client from going into information overload. As with coaching, we ask them to lead. What stands out to you? What would you like to talk about? What are you thinking and feeling as you're seeing this feedback? How does this suggest certain areas that we might focus on in the engagement going forward? The 360 is usually the most comprehensive set of data that you have to create the plan for the engagement. So it's really important that your client share with you what they're getting out of it. As you near the end, you're looking for key thoughts that your client is having. If they're having trouble because some of the comments are really destructive, then you may need to provide more active support in helping them to process and understand what they're reading and put it into context and help them to focus on themes and patterns rather than isolated points of feedback. It's also important to note that the manager is not anonymous in a 360 survey, right? Because that's a category of one, just like the person being surveyed. So that feedback is also important. What are we getting out of that feedback that the manager has provided? And can we then follow up with a conversation with the manager, meaning the coachee and the manager, to discuss the feedback and what they learned from the 360? It's a confidential survey, and that is not generally shared with other people, but it might be shared with the manager if the coachee is comfortable with that. Post-survey, you get together with the client 1 to 2 weeks later and process it again. They've probably looked at it again, so what are their latest thoughts about the feedback from the 360 and now what they would like to do to act on it? We create a plan for the engagement after that. You might still have another assessment or some other conversation you need to have with the client or someone else. Just get through all of that and create the plan for the engagement. Another good use for the 360 is 6 to 12 months later, you may want to do another 360 to gauge the growth of the client in this engagement so that you can see tangibly from other stakeholders around your client that they have grown through this process. These are some of my best ideas on how I've worked with clients through the 360 process over many years. If you have questions about the use of 360s, feel free to email me at michael@BAECexecutivecoach.com. If you would like to learn more about the Checkpoint 360 and possibly use the Checkpoint 360 within your organization, again, email me at michael@BAECexecutivecoach.com. Or if you would like to learn how you can use it as a coach and facilitator, let me know and we can talk about that. If you'd like to learn more about the coach training and certification program that I present on behalf of the Center for Executive Coaching, the next seminar is coming up soon. You should talk with me and get more information about it soon, or go to the Center for Executive Coaching /in-person seminar to get more information about that seminar soon. Or find out for the future. I have another seminar coming up in the summer and another seminar coming up in the fall. So there's lots of time to learn about why we have one of the best executive coach training and certification seminars in the business, and one of the very few that are presenting an in-person seminar. Many people appreciate the in-person experience that we have here in Northern California versus attending online like other coaching schools might do. Of course, we offer that as well if that's your preferred medium. And we also have a distance learning program, which can be very useful too if you have a longer timeline and possibly a smaller budget. At any rate, thank you very much for being here to understand this information about 360s and their use. Feel free to contact me or post comments below and I'll reply to you. Thank you very much.